Good afternoon and welcome to MtMtE I. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about the robot mode for the Transformers Alternators Prowl, the Akira RSX, a very unique vehicle and a very unique police car for sure. And today we're going to go over his robot mode step by step. We're going to discuss it, from the feet up and in such a way that a blind person can understand. And if you want to help me raise awareness of the blind and visually impaired, or if you just like what you're hearing here or seeing here, depending on your visual acuity, then please go below, hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and also leave me a comment talking about your likes, dislikes about the Alternator series. Let me know what was some of the coolest things that you saw in it. What were some of the just the absolute poo? You know, what was the crappy stuff? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from all of my subscribers. So let's get into it immediately. Oh, and this is my co-host Cream the Cat, who has chosen today to be a little more in the video. Isn't that right, Cream? Yeah, he's a good cat. Okay, so let's talk from the bottom of the feet. Now, this guy has some really cool feet. His feet actually have texture on the underside of them, because the bottoms of the feet actually are seen through the hatchback window. Really cool. I like the pattern of bars, because it's the back windshield of a police car, so it's got bars. It's got a little pattern of bars that is etched into it. There's a few of them in there. That's pretty neat. Coming up here to the roof of it, or to the top of the foot, we got a couple of little etchings in there. Some just basic, what I've come to figure out to just be basic foot textures. You got some stuff to break the foot up, but nothing to write home about. Here we go for the upper leg, or at least the lower leg. Now this is the entire underside of the rear of the vehicle. We've got all sorts of textures. We got some vents right there, some big vents. I always love me some vent textures. And for the most part, though, it's a lot of noisy molding and sculpting, but in a good way. It does add to the fact that this is an armored leg piece kind of thing. He has knee articulation, and before I leave it too far, he has slight ankle tilt, depending on how you wiggle this leg around, or his foot around. He also can go up and back with his foot. It's a pretty decent foot. But the problem with this foot is his foot joint is very loose. At least for me, it's not very loose. It's just one of them's looser than the other one. That comes from it being like a ball joint kind of thing. So be aware of that. That's the negative on ball joints. They wear down after a while. Oh, now let's get up here to the knee. His knee bend isn't really that far because of the the vehicle kibble on his back. And you can't really open the doorway there to get more knee bend, sadly. His knee bend is his knee bend, and there's nothing you can do about that. It bends at not even 45 degrees. It is not the greatest knee bend ever. Now, he does kick up a little more than 90, and he does kick back almost 90. I'd give that one 70 degrees. Side kick, just popping things all over the place. Side kick isn't really that far because of this side skirt thing, but if you raise this side skirt up, we can actually get a side kick of a 90. That's pretty good for a side kick. Now, coming up here to the roof of him, or at least his upper body, he does have a bit of waist articulation there. And it's a ratcheted one too, so it's kind of neat. When you get into a home position, it kind of just locks in place, so you can wiggle him a little bit, but not too much. And the hood, completely folded flat across the chest, is actually one of the few ways they did. For the majority of the alternators, they generally did hood sticks out front, robot head comes out through hood. And there was a few, and those are the ones I really appreciated, that did something different with the hood. Him and Skids are very similar in how they both treat the hood for the front of the vehicle mode, and that it folds flat across the chest, and I always enjoyed that. I thought that was a really fun way of doing the hood, and it does make it where you got some stuff you can do in there too with wiggling the steering around. It's really nice, and the hood textures are the textures for the car. Nothing has changed there texture-wise, except for these two little joints that pop up very, very largely. And the fact that his head just seems a little too small for this robot mode. It just feels like his head needs to be slightly bigger. He's got a bit of pinhead, and a lot of them have that problem. I don't know what's up with that, but their heads always felt just a little small. Um, the Coming over here to his shoulders, well, actually, first the head sculpt. With for him, he's got a really nice little etching for the crest of his helmet. He's got his nice little rabbit ear things poking off on either side, or at least the crest for Prowl. Sharp nose, really pointy nose, and I can't get my finger in there to really talk about anything else. But it's really, it is a decent head sculpt, and you can move it all over the place. He's got some decent range there. I like it, and I think that it'd be cool to get head sculpts for these guys that are just slightly bigger to better scale with the figure. Now, moving over here to the side, we've got the doors for the police car, which have now become these shoulder pauldrons, which I think are so cool. I like the fact he's got these really maneuverable shoulder pauldrons. They're fun. They're just a lot of fun. And we come down here, we got the tire hangs out right above the arm, and just kind of hangs out on its own joint and wiggles on its own. And the door rests on top of the tire, which is just another part that I always enjoyed about this robot. How just the fact the wheel's all the way up here, and then the door just kind of rests on top of you. When you were looking at this when he was first coming out, you guys go, how did they do that? So he was a fun Transformer to learn. Arm goes up at a 90. We've got not 360 degree. He can just go forward and backwards at a 90. His elbow joint is a double, so that's cool. And down here, his arm, his hand moves around, and his hand's also on a joint for some reason. That joint's not necessarily required for transformation. It's just neat to have that joint. And yeah, that's just about it for you, isn't it? What was that moving around in there? Oh, okay, I see what's going on there. Yeah. So he's holding his gun, which we talked about earlier, and in his other hand, he should be holding his nightstick, which is a lot of fun. It's just a pole with some things for people, to snap into his hand on the handle. It's really neat. Now, the back of him, spin him around, and we got a kind of a windshield going all the way back to the light bars. So he's got the light bars hanging out around his butt, and I always thought that was kind of funny. Like, if he's got an emergency situation, he's running to the restroom. Does he turn the lights on? Okay. So that is Prowl. I think Prowl is one of the more interesting alternators in that, like we talked about before, how the hood folds down and how he uses the leg doors. We see a few more with the leg doors, but we don't really see too many with the hood that folds down, nor do we see that many that don't use the doors for wings. This guy turned his doors into armor, and usually the doors are used for wings to help him fly, and that's not the case for Prowl, and I like that, though it does make him really wide. Like, this guy's super wide when it comes to the edges of the wings. Like Piccolo says, doors are going to be a problem. You're going to have to come into them one shoulder at a time. You have to ease your way into buildings. But that's enough to say about him. Robot mode wise, I'm going to give Prowl an S ranking for the time that he came out. Nothing had double jointed elbows. You're looking at articulation on a Transformer that we had never really seen before. Think about it. Armada was going out at the same time as this, and Armada's articulation is dubious. So far, we've only had one figure without the use of knees, and that's Windcharger. And that is still a shame, but I like Prowl here. I like how he has the little armor plates of the bumper that fold over the wheels, and everything over here. So I'm going to give this guy an S. He is an S-ranked robot. He has got all the articulation you could ever want in a toy from this time. Yeah, the knees don't bend that much, but they bend. The arms are double jointed. The hands are jointed. The hands spin. The hands open and shut. The fingers open and shut. It's just, he was a collector's dream when he came out, and he's a collector's dream still to this very day. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please, once again, go below, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Until next Prime, bye bye for now.